Hi, I'm Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times on Wednesday, September 16th. Headlines from Little Rock and Arkansas. Last night in southwest Little Rock, a woman pedestrian was killed and another woman was seriously injured when struck by a runaway SUV out of control. It was being chased by police. The SUV was believed to be stolen. The police chief of Little Rock today, Kenton Buckner, held a news conference to talk about the incident. It was so unusual. He talked that there is a protocol for police to use for high-speed chases when the city. We're not yet clear if everybody's satisfied it was used. The driver of the car that lost control and killed the woman has been charged with murder. This seems like a proper course of events. But there has been reporting since the death that of course, deaths do occur frequently across the country in high-speed chases, and it does always raise questions about whether the necessity for the chase existed at the time it was done. That's part of the process. The investigation is continuing. We learned this morning that among the 180 centers that are authorized to process refugees from Syria, if, as President Obama plans, some 10,000 of them begin coming to the United States beginning October the 1st. One of them is in Springdale, a Catholic Charities Immigration Organization, may process some. It's hard to say now if and how many there will be, but they're able to do so. They've done it with some immigrants from other countries in the past. Legislative committee today did decide to subpoena some people to testify about the processing of Medicaid eligibility in Arkansas. They will include somebody from the Centers for Medicaid and Medicare Services in Washington. This could lay out more information for legislators to consider on whether state officials reacted properly and have told everything there was to tell about what's gone wrong in the handling of Medicaid processing in Arkansas, something that's been immensely expensive and not very effective. The Chamber of Commerce got some bad news yesterday from City Attorney Tom Carpenter of Little Rock. The Supreme Court clerk has said that Carpenter's appeal was filed too late to be considered on the lawsuit that struck down the use of taxpayer money to subsidize the Little Rock Regional Chamber of Commerce and the Chamber of Commerce in North Little Rock. This also has potential to affect taxpayer subsidies of chambers of commerce around the state. This was filed by a public interest nonprofit group, Arkansas Public Law Center, of which I'm a board member, so I should disclose that. Tom Carpenter is going to appeal that ruling. If he's not successful in getting the Supreme Court to change its mind on whether he did appeal in time, there's a sort of a technical question on when the time period began. It might mean that will be the law for the time being. The legislature wants to change the Constitution and make sure that chambers of commerce, which are political organizations, do get subsidies and taxpayer money. Some of us think they can raise their own money for political purposes. Interesting ruling from the Arkansas Court of Appeals on a nursing home case today. The Court of Appeals overruled a circuit judge in Jefferson County who said a Pine Bluff area nursing home could be immune from a negligence lawsuit because it was a charitable enterprise. It's a nonprofit. It claims to operate for charitable purposes, so it says it wasn't required to pay anything for the terrible negligence that's apparently contributed to the death of a patient there. He had bed sores. He had bad catheter treatment. He was dehydrated. He was malnourished. It's just another awful nursing home story. The Court of Appeals said a jury needed to consider the question of whether this truly was a charitable enterprise. This nursing home, like some others, I'm led to believe, is ostensibly set up as a nonprofit, but it pays a significant amount of money to management corporations closely related to the nursing home. Those management corporations are for profit. They make a lot of money. This potentially could lead down the way to a test case for the Arkansas Supreme Court, which you may know in recent times has been the source of some controversy because of the immense amount of money nursing home interests have put into the election of Supreme Court judges. Surely a Supreme Court justice wouldn't rule against a dehydrated dead man if it came down to that or the nursing homes, would they? Would they consider where their money came from? Don't know. Batesville, the Independence County Quorum Court voted unanimously this week to permit the waving of a Confederate flag on a Sons of Confederate Veterans flagpole on public ground, the county courthouse lawn of the Independence County Courthouse. They see nothing about it. Why, it's all about heritage up there. Who could ever think this was about race or anything terrible, this symbol of a country that broke away from the United States to perpetuate slavery? Of course, there are hardly any black people at all in Batesville or Independence County. It did happen to be the home of a famous unionist named Baxter, who was part of a little bit of a skirmish we had on the old State House lawn in Arkansas some years ago, but that's just history. The Confederate flag is more important than that, as you know. I'd recommend for your reading today an article I posted from in these times about The New Orleans public school experience, they've turned the entire school district over to charter schools. This article makes a pretty strong case that those who say it's been an unbridled success are fudging the numbers quite a bit. I'd suggest you read it. Interesting other thing happened yesterday. The state Capitol Police decided yesterday to issue a directive that drones, unmanned aircraft, hobby model airplanes would not be allowed over the Capitol grounds or a significant amount of space around the borders of the Capitol. They cite a statute that gives them priority to establish security in the Capitol, and they think there's just a real public safety concern about having planes flying over the Capitol. Who knows what a hidden camera might spot around the Capitol late one night. The Secretary of State has used his cameras, video cameras, to some good effect in the past politically, you might remember. That's it for today. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back tomorrow.